Okay. So what I wanted to discuss is how we would celebrate if we are approved to do the letter of intent in the CIFAR grant. And let me point out how important that would be. You might say, well, just an intermediate step, but no, it is really, really important because it shows a certain buy-in by other people with our kind of style of thinking. And it's, enabling. It will enable all sorts of other things and legitimize all sorts of other things. So it would be a really big deal, and we'll know one way or the other this week. So what I wanted your thoughts on is how we would celebrate, when we would celebrate. So what I thought is the obvious way is some sort of Zoom event that can involve, all the people who might want to take part, sort of similar to my birthday, but also different. Do you have any thoughts about that, just offhand?
I mean, sure, a Zoom call would be interesting. I mean, I'm just trying to think of how to make it more special, I guess.
Yeah, I think, don't you think that Rachel Armstrong, if she's a part of it, she, I feel, is more creative than I am. And she would have some really cool things to suggest. And I imagine she's been part of other celebrations of big things in the past. I think in Europe, they've gotten major funding for projects that she designed. So,
wow.
she's had occasions to celebrate things like this. So she can advise us how to celebrate. And
or she could be a guest conference member.
Yes, certainly. And yeah, so there are several other things to celebrate. Accidentally, I became concerned that there was some sort of conflict with Rich Sutton because I got a Google Meet invitation from him, and it made it seem like, but that was just his, admin staff. So really, the other thing to celebrate is we had looked forward to Rich Sutton's teaching session, and it went so well, and he enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
We enjoyed it. It was just, a very good thing. And he's a well-known person in AI. So that will help us with the grants. And I think that if we get to go on to the next phase, part of the reason is that his teaching session is sort of at the top of the list on the YouTube channel. And so people could easily look at that. So the snake, I realize I made an error in the joke about the snake for the office, which is,
oh really?
Yes, I was talking about International Association for Appealing Snake Names. And that's not the correct name. It should be the International Commission. Don't you think that create a commission to come up with these appealing names for snakes? So that with that one correction, that humorous text would be complete. And
perfect.
Yeah. So it was also nice that Rebecca's very busy, but she took time out to ask those questions about what the snake would be named. And yeah, so that's a good thing. So the the other thing that I'm realizing, which is kind of fun actually, that the survey they sent to the 4 members of our research team about diversity was amazingly detailed. And I realized how serious CIFAR is about diversity. Like we would have been enthusiastic about reporting about it, but now what I'm thinking is, let's really be proactive about the diversity part of searching for team members. You know, do we know any trans people in the fields that we're interested in? Because they sort of, you know, so specifically asked about things like that in this questionnaire that I realize it's not just people of color, but it's really sort of unusual humans in general, you know, that they're sort of after, with the idea that you get the best thoughts if you have very diversified teams. And there's no need to argue that. They're convinced that is the case. And
Right.
so it's something else that we could kind of ponder as we plan. Like Rachel had given me a web link of leaders of color. So and I think in fact female leaders of color. So I could see who we could find there. But yeah, that it's just interesting to me that there is such an enthusiastic embrace of diversity. And so really what we ought to do somehow, I think, is bring in some of CIFAR's favorite themes into the party that we have, right? So, I mean, the two are not, we're celebrating a decision that CIFAR has made. We might as well bring in some of those attributes. So that was my thought about it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in the CAP symposium, one of the conferences, which I did not have the time, unfortunately, to see because there were multiple simultaneous conferences. One of them was on normal lab value references for the transgender community. So I don't know which specific laboratory values they were looking at, but I'm guessing it, you know, there's gender differences in, let's say, hemoglobin, there's, you know, in iron. So I'm actually really curious as to what that conference was actually about.
Yeah. And
so yeah, there's a lot of work on transgender health across the world.
And I think also there's a very recent change in the diagnosis of chronic kidney disease worldwide. It used to factor in race, and what that meant was that it decreased the number of people that it regarded, or it made it harder for people of color to be included. Anyway, it sort of disadvantaged them. They got dialyzed later, you know, they had poorer outcomes. So removing race from the calculation to kind of determine who has chronic kidney disease is now regarded as very positive and long overdue thing. And with the medical students today, it was quite interesting. We were talking about this case of a breast lump, and it wasn't immediately apparent that the patient was female. Turned out the patient was female, but yeah, so we spent lot of time talking about, male breast lumps and the various possibilities of people who, begin life with one gender and end up identifying with another and so on. I talked with them about the CIFAR questionnaire because it just shows that the world is changing. If you go to a building that has gender neutral bathrooms and you're upset by it, you're behind
You're the problem.
You're behind the times. You're the person with the problem. The building is fine. You're not fine. Yeah, you got to get with the program here.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. It's really cool how more research is being done in that front, because there's a lot of, I don't know enough about it, but for example, cervical cancer screening, breast cancer screening, there were, at least in the past, no specific guidelines, because you're like, ooh, how do I treat these, this man who has a cervix? And right. So I saw recently the St. Justin Pediatric and Gynecological Hospital, they opened up a pap test clinic open to the whole population. But I saw that they were careful to write people with cervixes. It was not specified women. It was really people with cervixes.
Yeah.
There's been lots of work in that front.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting world. So let me ask you about the 30th. Is the 30th a hospital? Is the 30th a holiday in Quebec? Here it's Truth and this week, this Thursday. Is it a holiday for you? Truth and Reconciliation Day.
I don't think it's a holiday in Quebec. I think we're one of the few that don't count it as a holiday. Right. I have to check, but unfortunately, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, okay.
Because Keith recently commented to me on the irony that Quebec is one of the few places that don't celebrate it, along with Ontario, I think.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess like if we're going to do something soon, then this coming weekend would be the earliest that we could do it. It isn't really practical to do it on Thursday, probably also because if people are planning things for the holiday, and it would, it's just not going to work then. Yeah, I don't know.
When do you have results from the CIFAR?
Before Friday. I don't know which day, but before Friday. Say before the 1st. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And if ever the event happens that we're not chosen or whatever, like I think it doesn't discredit the work that we did either, so.
Yeah. No, that's the other thing that I wanted to say is if we don't get to do the letter of intent, I still feel that a lot of things have happened to give me confidence to keep on keeping on, with this. I don't think this one video, the Game Changer video that went viral, will be the only one. I think there are several others. This one coming out October 11th and so on that I think will be equally interesting. So, and lots of other opportunities to do things like that. It's just, I don't think I want to spend all my time talking about myself. There's something wrong with that picture. If like you're giving up other things in order to talk to talk show hosts about yourself, ultimately that would give you fewer and fewer accomplishments to talk about, right? I'm not doing anything anymore. I'm just talking about myself. Yes, so that wouldn't be good, I think. Yeah. Right, so right. I can show you. So I found this, and I don't know if this means anything to you, but the artist here is the same as the artist that did all the art in the winter 2015 issue of the alumni magazine New Trail, and that whole issue was all about our course. So I never really knew, number one, who that artist was, and number two, that it was a commercial artist, somebody you could hire. But from this graphic that I found, that is obviously by the same person, it's the same colors and everything. It means that I now do have a conduit to that artist. We wanted to get more stuff done to sort of directly extend what they did in that very special issue.
Yeah.
The status of that issue is also interesting. The editor of New Trail gave me a PDF of the entire issue, and I freely share that with the students in the course, because, as I say, the whole issue is about the course. But that issue of New Trail is no longer on the university's website. And I don't think it's coming back. I think somebody high up in the hierarchy found it too futuristic for university policy. And see, it's kind of circular, because I benefited very much from the very warm embrace that the university's public relations staff gave to my Wikipedia entry and to the course. So like it was in the same week or same month that my Wikipedia entry appeared that they started working on this issue that would celebrate the course. It was a great thing for me to have this visually obvious sign that the Central University sort of bought into the philosophy of the course. But from the other point of view, you can imagine future leaders of the university might say, what the heck is this? How did this get on the cover of the alumni magazine? Yeah, who are all these futuristic creatures? What's going on here? Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, it's kind of fun. And I think that eventually, probably that issue will reappear on the university website, but it's just not convenient right now.
It's had a temporary disappearance.
Yeah, and
the world.
So
some greater good.
Yeah, this is a new graphic Ashita has done with very good depictions of the things that we talk about.
Very nice, very nice.
Solving. Yeah, so anyway, that works quite well, I think. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about celebrating.